Good morning. It's September the 13th, a Monday, so that means I'm walking along the creek. A cool Monday. It's 11 degrees. I would have put it as a little cooler actually, but that's the official temperature anyway. As fall continues to inch ever closer. So we will, what's going on up here? Make our way to the dike and along the creek. Wascana Creek, that is. Some landscaping underway there. Work-wise, this will be an editing week. I got a big editing project I've taken on, which I'm a bit behind on, so I'll be working on that. Hi. And still proofreading. Where shall we go? Well, I guess we'll just go straight on down to the dike here. Still proofreading Shapers of Worlds Volume 2. I want to get that manuscript pretty much finalized by next week. And then I'll have a review version. I can hopefully get up on NetGalley, I hope. Or at the very least, it will be available for other people to review. Hopefully find a few reviewers before the book hits officially on November 2nd. Also, the Kickstarter version I want to have ready to go by the end of next week, so that means a reasonably final. There'll still be a chance to fix things after the Kickstarter version before the print version becomes available, since it's print on demand this time. So yeah, if I haven't mentioned it, of course I mention it every single time. This is the anthology I kickstarted earlier this year, featuring authors who were guests during the second year of my podcast, The World Shapers. Oh, and there's a brand new episode of the World Shapers podcast out with Laurel K. Hamilton, international bestseller, 20 million copies of her book in print, or some little number like that. You might also find it interesting if you go on my on my YouTube channel and look in my writing playlist, or under favorites, there's a new interview with Betsy Wollheim, who's the president, and with my editor, Sheila E. Gilbert, co-publisher and co-editor-in-chief of Daw Books, which is my main New York publisher. It mostly focuses on the Green Rider series from Christian Britton? Oh dear, I shouldn't have said it now if I was going to get the name wrong. Anyway, Britton. But she talks about the process of publishing in her many years of experience, because Daw Books is now 50 years old. And although it was started by her father, she took it over in the 80s with Sheila. Oh, those lovely contrast with the dark red berries. The breeze is quite cool this morning. I did not wear a sweater, figuring I'd warm up as I walked, but it's actually a little cooler. They said 11, but I would put the temperature a little lower than that, just from feel. Anyway, I want to get the manuscript for Shapers of Worlds Volume 2 to the Kickstarter printer by the end of next week. It's the mail list, so it will go out to my backers. And I still have to mail personally a bunch of copies of the first book. People who bought those are back to the level at which they received those, I should say. That's going to be a big job too, and I've got this editing job to do. Lots to do. There's no staff at Child Press, just me and the cat, and he's no help at all. See a bit more autumn color here and there again. Like the creek is downright ruffled as the creek goes. Seems to have ripples in it. I'm still using my old lapel mic. Hopefully it keeps going. Again, I never know if it's charging or not. Even when I think it is, it's not necessarily. It charged because it's working and it was completely dead. And yet I can't count on it charging. Which is why I have a brand new mic system. But I'm still waiting on one little tiny cable I needed to make it work. That one's gone very yellow, hasn't it? There, it's got quite yellow. Getting unstable internet, don't know why. Our traditional look both ways along the creek. To the east. A little further here. West. Not too much yellow yet, but some. Check there on YouTube or Facebook, say hi. Excuse me. Now I never get a unstable internet along here, and yet that's exactly what I need. Now there it cleared up. So if you missed that, that's it. If you're on YouTube or something pretty over here though. It gets yellow. That'll be very pretty there. We don't get a lot of variation in tree color. There's a few maples that'll turn red, but most of our trees turn yellow. Sometimes a really lovely gold. And some of them seem to hang onto their green and just drop it while it's still green, and they never change color at all. Could drive out to Lumsden. The Capel Valley is the prettiest place around here in the fall. That seems kind of a long way to go for something that's actually making any money. Let's see if the waterfall is going. I can walk down there, but it looks like it is off. There's not much point. Waterfall Park down there. I've been down there many times. It was off the last time I came by too. I don't know why they turned it off. Maybe it quits at the end of August. I don't know who controls it. I haven't even seen a dog yet by this point. Usually run into at least one on the walk by now. With an owner, not loose. Alright, I have a frog in my throat. Try walking through. I suspect the dew would make it quite damp though, so I don't know if I want to do this or not. can walk down this side instead of staying on the path. Also getting a unstable internet connection again in here, so I hope I don't lose my feed. We haven't said hello yet, so I don't even know if anybody's watching live. Grass is definitely on the damp side, so I don't think I'll carry on. I'll come back to the path and maybe get a better signal too. Okay. But you can walk on that side of the bushes all the way down to where it bends to the left ahead. And of course, the sun's lower and lower when I do it first thing in the morning. If I keep walking at this time, I'll eventually be walking in the dark, at which time it'll be really cold. So it's likely, as winter comes, my timing will change somewhat, and I'll quit walking first thing in the morning, move it to later in the morning when the sun's up. I do one or two in the dark, or twilight anyway. Yesterday, if you look at yesterday's walk, I went all the way up to northwest, right on the edge of town, so there's some great shots of the prairie. I mean, you can draw the prairie by taking a ruler and drawing a horizon, putting a few clouds in, scribbling a few little trees way off in the distance. There's your prairie. I used to love prairie scenes when I was an editorial cartoonist. We would review. Taking a grain elevator back then. There's fewer of those around now, of the old style. And you had Saskatchewan. Well, it's definitely a little less peopled this morning on the path than it typically has been. I wonder if that's the cool air. Now, there's some up across the, see a couple of people up across the, across Elphinstone, I think. Oh, but they're leaving the path. The Horseshoe Club and its pitches, I think they're called, Horseshoe Pitches. And I've only ever seen anybody play horseshoes once along here. They must have regular meeting times though, I mean it's kept up. So clearly people do come and play horseshoes. I played horseshoes maybe once in my life, maybe twice. More when I was visiting kinfolk in the south. Start to see kids heading to school, what some of the foot traffic has been. Sherman Park. Creek's over there. We'll be closer to it momentarily. I quite often run into high school students this time of the morning. There goes one now. Heading to Sheldon Williams Collegiate, which is over there, past the trees and the houses. My own daughter's at the University of Toronto. She's had started her classes, some in-person classes this year, finally, again. Kind of a mixture. Her apartment was very handy to the university. She's sharing with a couple of other girls. Now, so far, I don't think I'm even working up a sweat. It's cool enough, so here's that. The creek. The footbridge that we're crossing momentarily, a little further up. I may keep this one fresh because I have so much editing to do. So I may just make this one of my standard creek walks, which only takes about 45 minutes rather than going for an hour. Ooh, the police went down the alley. I wonder why. Just patrolling or looking for somebody or something. There's a skateboarder. No, it's not a skateboarder, it's an electric scooter. One of those. I'm fairly balanced on my feet. Police car went down that alley. Police SUV. Kept going though. It's not parked there somewhere arresting somebody. Yes, campaign's going on. We vote. Advance voting ends tomorrow. We went and did it on Saturday. Got that out of the way. So if any candidates come to the door, I can simply say we've already voted and I don't have to talk to them. Half blocked for some reason. Painting or something. Marijuana Marianne. It's not Douglas Park. This is Les Sherman Park. I've been to Douglas Park, but this is Les Sherman. So we're over by the Blackwell Centre. Right by the creek. Well, technically, it's Les Sherman. This sign says Les Sherman because somebody picked the theme for some reason. Oh, I see a dog. First dog I've seen this morning. Than usual. Mostly I've been running into high school students. See, that's the Blackwell Centre over there, which we'll walk by as I come back the other way. I suppose I could go a little further and stretch it out just a bit further so it's a bit more than closer to an hour. Yes, that's right. I just crossed Elphinstone as I entered the park here. Because I start in the Crescents, just south of College, west of Albert. Unless I drive somewhere like I did yesterday when I went way up to the northwest. But I have done Douglas Park more than once, and we'll certainly go back again. It's a fun place to walk around, especially climbing the hill and getting a view of the whole city from up there. Of course, the only reason this path winds is to make it scenic. That area in Douglas Park by the creek early morning. I'll never be there early morning, so by the time I get over there, it's later in the morning, even if that's where I'm going. Although I have to ask why. Are there sketchy people lurking in the bushes? I've only run into a couple of people that kind of gave me pause in the 180 odd walks I've done. One fellow seemed convinced that I was YouTubing people and then insulting their appearance, which of course is not what I'm doing. He was living in an alternate reality. Probably what he would have done. It's probably what that was. Then another guy swore at me as I was crossing Broad Street. Don't know why. I hadn't even pointed the camera at him. He was just a sweary person, I think, with a chip on his shoulder. Also perhaps inhabiting an alternative reality. There are a few people in alternative realities you can find around downtown and other places. Round the corner we go. Heading to the Pasqua Street Bridge. There's a dog. I knew I saw one. It wasn't this one though. I don't know where the one I saw went. Or maybe I saw the woman with her baby carriage that we just passed and I thought it was a dog, but that doesn't seem likely. Morning. Well, I'm a science fiction writer, so I think in terms of things like alternate realities. I guess as a writer, I live in an alternate reality all the time I'm writing. There's the creek. It still has quite a bit of algae in it. Colder air will soon take care of that. We had a hot summer, so a real algae bloom this summer. Interesting though. See the algae's all over on the other side. And it's a bit ruffled this morning. You can see there's a bit of breeze. We'll go under the bridge and go on almost to Louvain. Let's stretch this out a bit more. They're mowing grass still. I won't need to do that too much longer either, as the colder weather sets in. No birds. The ones that migrate are kind of thinking about it. You can keep seeing flocks of geese going over. They're probably flying out into the farmers' fields to fatten up. Oop. Winter is a-comin'. Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. We're not quite there yet, but not too far away. Wascana Street Bridge. is a haven for the type of people who think spray painting walls makes them, I don't know what. I know what I think it makes them, but I suspect that's not the effect they're going for. Part of the Trans-Canada Trail, as was the path I was following yesterday. If you keep following this, it takes you to the path I was following yesterday, but I don't have that kind of time. Okay, we'll go over here, walk around the... yeah, let's go this way. I've never walked on this side of it. Walk around the baseball field. That's the words I'm looking for. Canoes here, they're used by schools. My daughter came over here and did canoeing once when she was in grade 8, I think, at Davin School. In the spring is when you see that. Apartment building, or condos, I'm not sure which, to the left. And the building over here is Sask Express. Used to be a school. Sask Express is a performing group and school for kids. Yeah, that's what I remembered. I haven't actually walked on this side of Sask Express here, so I've only stretched this out a little bit from what I normally do in the mornings. I gotta get back to work. See the sun trying to peek through the clouds. Sask Express, main entrance. So behind this wall in the old gym, they have a rather nice little theater. They've done some full-scale musicals in there, usually at Christmas time, but not recently, of course. Is Pasqua not terribly busy at the moment? Oh, there's one coming way down there. Express. Now we're back alongside the park, and we've turned the corner and are heading home. I'm heading home. I don't know what you're doing. Now this street is interesting. 15th. It was always open the whole length without any traffic control, and there are clearly concerns about speeding along here. They had one of those things that tells you your speed, and now there are 2 stop signs along here, so you have to stop twice if you take this route, which makes it less attractive for the people who are trying to get over to the Louvain, where they're usually headed if you come along here. Or at least if they do come this way, they're less likely to speed while they do it. And they're doing something that's blocked the road completely up here. But not the sidewalk, it looks open, so we'll carry on. Or if it's not, I can walk in the grass. Like the trees on the residential side tend to have more yellow in them than the trees in the park for some reason. Maybe because the park gets watered. I don't know. See, that one's looking quite autumnal. I think I'll take to the grass. Go walk in the park. Hopefully there's not too much dew. My feet don't get too wet. They're squeaking, so there's definitely some. Aiming toward that little piece of road up there, which will take us by the Blackwell Centre. Take us through the football/soccer field. When our daughter was really little, we tried her in soccer, but it didn't take. She was not interested. Neither was I. It was so boring. Well, 4 and 5-year-olds playing soccer is definitely boring. You know, less so it's a World Cup, but yeah. But you try various things. It was dance that took, although she has expressed some regret at not keeping up figure skating instead. But I'm glad she went with dance. Better hours for rehearsals. But she did do figure skating for a couple of years, and I even did some announcing at competitions and recitals for the figure skating club for those years, which was fun. Well, competition was a little, they were very growly if they thought somehow you'd shortchange them on time, even though I was following the instructions. But of course, the stakes were higher for them than for me as the announcer. Those that were hoping to go to regional and national competition, and of course maybe the Olympics is always kids' hopes if they're good at it. Our students headed somewhere. Yes, my feet are getting kind of wet doing this, so perhaps not a great choice. Too late now. I'm almost to solid ground. So the footbridge we came over is over there. Yay! Not too wet, but definitely a little on the damp side. Blackwell Centre, where they do art classes, and there's an art gallery in there, Art Gallery of Regina, I think it's called. Not the catchiest of names, especially since there are other art galleries in Regina. Although this might be the only one that's in a city facility, so that might be why I go with calling this one the Art Gallery of Regina. Mackenzie Art Gallery is in a provincial building, T.C. Douglas building. It's our biggest one. And then there's various commercial galleries. Yeah, fairly short walk. It'll be under an hour for sure when I get back. We'll go down this way and go down the dike a bit on the north side of the creek. AGR, Art Gallery of Regina. See, I don't just make this stuff up. City of Regina, the old logo. Current logo features the Twin Towers, which there's now 3 of them, so even it's out of date. 2 matching towers downtown. But now there's a 3rd one, which would show up in the little scrawl they use for the logo. So I don't know if they're, at some point we'll be rebranding everything, but of course that costs money, and it's our money. Whenever the government does anything, it's our money. The government doesn't have any money. So you want them to spend it wisely, and they never do, it seems like. Your mileage may vary. That's a seniors center there. Activity center, not a, as in seniors live there kind of place. We're going to that path over there, along the, and despite the chill, I have worked up a sweat now, so I made the right choice in not wearing a sweater. Just thought you'd like to know that. Cross Elphinstone. Elphinstone Bridge. We're already on the right side of the creek, so I won't go back over to the other side now. And my microphone has stayed running through the whole thing, so that's good. Hi Miriam in India. Getting towards the end already. Probably another 10 minutes or so to home. Along the creek again. Just beginning to see more autumn trees. Right now there's not too much along the creek, but there will be. Almost unusual to see somebody walking without a dog this time of the morning along here. This side tends to have more dogs on it than the other side. Let's see, where should I go down the dike? Maybe I'll go down here just to be different. I don't use this path very often. So that's it for the part along the creek of this morning. Of course, on Friday I'll be around the lake again, by which time there ought to be considerably more yellow in the tree. And I don't know where I'll go the rest of the week. I'll take this path today. As the day goes along, the sun will come out, but it's still kind of struggling with the low cloud there to the right now. It's supposed to be 21 today, which is pleasant. Not too hot, not too cold. I've been in that house on a school tour, home tour, fundraiser for Davin School. This one's pretty new. You can sort of tell by the fence, brand new fence. You can even smell the fresh wood on the fence, it's so new. This is Garnet Street. I used to live in the last block down there. A lot of these houses are new since then. That one we just walked by, for sure. This one, for sure. Several others. There used to be a giant rock sculpted into kind of a bas relief of a buffalo on the corner up here where the fire hydrant is. But then the house there is currently under renovation. So I don't know if the person who lived there when he left, I wonder if he took that with him. It was massive. It's not the sort of thing you put in the back of a truck, and an ordinary truck, and hauled away. It would have taken a flatbed. Just be right there. I always remember this house. I sang at the funeral of the man who lived there, and his wife had asked me to sing. And then she invited me over to meet him while he was still alive. He had terminal cancer, I think. So that was a little odd. I don't usually meet the people, you know, I'm going to sing at their funeral specifically for that reason. The funerals I've sung at have tended to be people connected to the church that I was in at any given time, or Harding University. There were people connected to the school, and they'd have the choir sing. That was a little odd, but I did it, and she appreciated it. A couple of new ones over there. Cameron Street. So if we come across the same footbridge we started on, it's right down there. You can see some yellow along here. Again, there seems to be more yellow in the residential areas than in the park. So far. The row house, it's officially called Henderson Terrace, built in 1913. Now this porch though is brand new. They just rebuilt it. I was walking by it all the time they were doing it. They made it match the older porches perfectly. All these porches may be new since 1913, who knows. There's the sun, making a little more headway. There's some patches of blue up there now, so it'll probably pop out here. Oh yeah, it'll pop out here in a minute for sure, just as I'm finishing up. One of the outer intersections where Leopold Crescent joins us. 18th Avenue. Not high traffic though, so if you're paying attention, you won't run into anybody. Around the corner, 1 block, and we're home. As the sun starts now to show through the trees, give you that early morning feel. Yeah, I noticed this last time I came by. It's an interesting playground setup. Just cables attached to 2 trees. Maybe it's somebody that practices gymnastics or something, I don't know. One more block, we'll stop at the traditional stop sign stopping point. the corner of Metallic and Angus Crescent. Garbage day, that's why the bins are out. They used to always get them very early on, but it doesn't. Recently it's been a bit later in the morning. I always try to get it back behind our fence as soon as I can, so people don't put dog poop in it. All right, well, here's our stop sign. So we will stop right here. So thanks for walking with me live. Oh, thanks, Colleen. Didn't know you were there. Thanks for watching. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for that. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.